The roar of motorcycle engines rolled across the dusty roadside diner just as the afternoon heat began to settle over the small town. People inside glanced toward the windows, some curious, some uneasy. A group of about 15 bikers had just pulled into the parking lot, leather jackets flashing under the sun, chrome bikes gleaming like mirrors. For many locals, the sight alone was enough to spark whispers and quiet judgment. They looked tough, loud, and intimidating. Exactly the kind of people parents warn their children to stay away from. Inside the diner, 8-year-old Lily Carter sat at a corner table with a glass of water, her small hands trembling slightly. She wasn't afraid of the bikers. She barely even noticed them. Her attention was fixed on the street across the road, where her mother had gone nearly 10 minutes earlier. Something felt wrong. Her mother had said she would be right back, but Lily had learned that sometimes those words didn't mean what they were supposed to mean. Then she heard it. A shout. Another shout. And the unmistakable sound of something crashing. Lily jumped from her seat, heart pounding. She ran to the window and saw a man pushing her mother against a wall near the small convenience store across the road. Another man stood beside him, yelling angrily. Her mother tried to pull away, but the first man grabbed her arm again. Lily's breath caught. She didn't think. She didn't hesitate. She ran outside. Across the diner parking lot, the bikers were laughing and talking, some removing helmets, others stretching after the long ride. Their leader, a broad-shouldered man named Jack Iron Lawson, noticed the little girl running straight toward them, tears streaming down her face. "They're beating my mama," she cried, her voice cracking as she reached them. "Please help. They're hurting her." The laughter stopped instantly. Every head turned. Jack knelt down to Lily's level, his deep voice suddenly calm and gentle. "Where?" She pointed across the road, her small finger shaking. "There, by the store." The bikers didn't exchange long speeches or dramatic looks. They simply moved. Helmets dropped to the ground. Boots hit the pavement. Within seconds, the entire group was crossing the road together, not running wildly, but walking with a quiet, determined stride that made drivers slow down and stare. Across the street, the two men were still shouting. One of them shoved Lily's mother again, unaware that 15 bikers had just formed a silent line behind him. A heavy voice spoke. "That's enough." The men turned. Their anger drained almost instantly as they saw the group standing there. Leather jackets. Hard faces. Arms crossed. Jack stepped forward, not yelling, not threatening, just standing between them and the woman. "You want to step back," he said calmly. One of the men tried to laugh it off. "This isn't your business." Jack didn't move. "It is now." A few tense seconds passed. Finally, the men backed away, muttering curses as they retreated toward their car and sped off. No punches were thrown. No dramatic fight happened. Just the quiet, undeniable presence of people who had decided someone weaker wouldn't stand alone. Lily ran across the road and hugged her mother tightly, crying into her shirt. Her mother, Sarah Carter, still shaken, looked up at the bikers with disbelief. "Thank you," she whispered. Jack gave a small nod. "You okay, She hesitated, then admitted, "They're my ex-husband's friends. He's been trying to force me to sign some papers. I refused." Jack glanced at the other bikers. A few of them exchanged knowing looks. Many of them had lived rough lives, had seen situations like this before. "Do you have somewhere safe to stay tonight?" he asked. Sarah hesitated again. "Not really." Jack stood silent for a moment, thinking. Then he said, "You do now." Within an hour, something unexpected began to unfold. The biker group, known as the Iron Riders, had originally planned to pass through town and continue their long trip south. Instead, they cancelled their reservations and decided to stay. Word spread quickly around the small town. The bikers weren't causing trouble. They were quietly making sure a mother and her daughter stayed safe. That evening, 2 bikers parked their motorcycles outside Sarah's small apartment building, while others contacted a local legal aid office they had worked with during charity rides. One member, an older woman named Rosa who rode her own black touring bike, spent hours helping Sarah organize documents and understand her legal rights. Another member fixed the broken lock on her apartment door. Someone else brought groceries. Another dropped off a small teddy bear for Lily, who had barely stopped smiling since the afternoon. The next morning, Jack returned with coffee and breakfast sandwiches. Lily ran to the door when she heard the bikes outside. "Are you leaving?" she asked nervously. "Not yet," Jack replied with a grin. "We've got a few things to finish." Over the next few days, something remarkable happened. The intimidating group that many townspeople had quietly feared began helping all over the neighborhood. They repaired a damaged fence for an elderly couple next door. They helped repaint a small community center wall covered in graffiti. They organized a quick fundraiser ride that collected enough money to cover Sarah's initial legal expenses. People who had once crossed the street to avoid them now stopped to talk. Some even brought homemade food as a thank you. The town slowly realized something it had forgotten. Appearances could be wildly misleading. Meanwhile, Sarah's ex-husband tried once more to pressure her, but this time things were different. She had legal support, witnesses, and the confidence that she wasn't alone. The harassment stopped quickly once formal complaints were filed. One evening, as the sun set in warm orange light, the Iron Riders gathered in the parking lot preparing to finally continue their journey. Lily stood beside Jack, holding the small teddy bear they had given her. "Are you coming back?" she asked. Jack smiled. "We pass through sometimes. But even if we are not here, you remember something, okay?" "What?" "You were brave. You ran for help. That saved the day more than anything we did." Lily thought about that, then nodded seriously. Sarah stepped forward, her eyes shining with gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you." Jack shook his head. "You already did. Just take care of her. That's enough." The engines started one by one, the deep rumble filling the evening air. As the motorcycles rolled out of the parking lot, people from nearby buildings stepped outside and waved. Some even clapped quietly. The same sight that had once caused suspicion now inspired respect. Weeks later, the story spread beyond the town. Someone had recorded part of the moment when the bikers stood between Sarah and the attackers, and the video circulated online. But what moved people most wasn't the confrontation. It was what came after: the repairs, the legal help, the groceries, the quiet acts of protection that never made dramatic headlines. Lily kept a small photo on her bedside table, taken the day the bikers left. In it, she stood smiling between Jack and Rosa, looking smaller than ever but somehow stronger too. Whenever anyone asked her if she had been scared that day, she would answer honestly, "Yes, but I knew someone would help." Years later, long after the incident faded from local memory, Sarah would still tell the story whenever someone judged others by how they looked. She would smile gently and say, "The day my daughter ran for help, the people everyone feared turned out to be the ones who protected us the most." And somewhere on highways stretching across the country, the Iron Riders continued their journeys, loud engines and quiet kindness traveling side by side, reminding anyone who truly paid attention that strength isn't measured by appearance, and heroes don't always arrive wearing uniforms. Sometimes they arrive wearing worn leather jackets, riding roaring machines, and choosing, in a single moment, to stand between danger and someone who cannot stand alone.